Okay, so very good morning to all of you, and I welcome all of you to my channel once again. So today is Sunday, so I just thought to do something which is out of my routine. I have routine academic things to do, but then it is Sunday, so I just want to do the thing which I like. And since it is weekend, so here it is not possible to go outside because the weather is very hot. Yesterday it was 44 degrees Celsius. Today is, I think, almost the same. So on top of that, hot wind is blowing, so it's not a good idea to go outside. Better to stay indoor. So sometimes I do this kind of, so I just thought to do this kind of video because this is something which I built not for subscriber and all those things, but to have some space to speak my thought or ideas or my understanding. So today I choose a topic which many people would refrain from speaking or doing video on this thing. But there are many videos on the YouTube. I have been through 1 2 3 videos like that. So the topic is about office politics. So what is office politics? So when I was doing master in PhD, I heard the term office politics, but I have no clue or idea about what is office politics. I thought maybe it is almost similar to the people who do politics on the mainstream. So but when I came here, work in the office, then I started realizing the office politics, but still I lack that proper words to define what office politics is. So today I took the help of ChatGPT. There are many good technologies to do videos, to do video editing and all those things. I'm not very much into it. I have not that much idea. I still little bit have that kind of like apprehension what happened when we gave access to our videos and our photos to the AI. So will it be safe or like that kind of thing? So I truly have no idea about all those things. Maybe it is safe. People do this kind of thing by keeping in view the importance of privacy of our photos and all those kind of things, and they take advantage of all those things to enhance video. So I'm not on that level right now. I'm just doing this on and also I do not have much subscribers. So but I'm just still trying to learn something with this new age of tools and technologies. I'm also learning to do this kind of thing to keep myself updated in a way. So now, what is office politics? So office politics is, it's a strategy, the tactic, the behavior that people use to gain advantages and influence within the workplace. So it often involves, forming alliance or group, managing perception, and navigating power dynamic to advance one's own interest or the interest of a group or particular group. So whether it is government institutions or private and public, so each institution has its own particular motto or particular goal. So one is to work for advancing the interest or the motto of institution. And in addition to that, as an individual, we have our own particular interest, how to give shape, how to advance the goal of such institution along with one's own individual interest. So now, in order to fulfill all those things, some people use different tactic to form group and alliances and all this kind of thing. So there is a lot of power play, power dynamic going on, and sometimes we fell into the trap of this kind of power dynamic, that we have no idea what this group or what that particular group is, group core interest lie, and which way they are working, which way they are going. Either they are inclining or working for the welfare of the institution or for their own benefit. So that power dynamic, power struggle, forming alliances and all those things is what we call office politics. So second question is about is the does this office politics, is it good or bad? So office politics can be both good and can be bad as well, depending upon how we used. So on the positive side, they help individual or a group to navigate complex work environment, to build a relationship, and to advance their career. When used ethically or when constructively, office politics can promote teamwork, innovation, and effective decision making. So these are some of the good side of office politics which I was not aware of. But the negative side, on the negative side, office politics can lead to unhealthy competition, favoritism, toxic work culture. Okay, unhealthy environment or unhealthy competition, favoritism, and toxic work culture. So when people prioritize personal gain over teamwork and integrity, it creates a conflict, resentment, and it hinders productivity. So I always thought that office politics is something very bad, something it has a negative effect. Most of the time people fell prey into this negative aspect side of office politics. They make the environment very unhealthy, and there's a toxic, we create this toxic work culture where neither this team nor this team will get benefit. But it has a positive aspect too, because if we uh, constructively use it, then it may promote good teamwork and innovation as well. But most of the time, as I have already said, there are a lot of people mostly fell into the negative side of this office politics. So it is very important to understand these things, because no matter what, I think majority of the people are working in some sector or some work culture, they have workspace. So how to identify first and foremost, so these are some of the thing that I've mentioned, through which you understand what people are doing actually. And as I've said, every coin has two sides, this side and that side. So they have both good and bad side. Similarly, each individual, I feel like no individual is completely bad or completely good. Every individual has some good aspect and the bad aspect, positive aspect and the negative aspect. Same thing with everything in the universe. Okay, so that is why the point lies in which way we want to go. Either employ all those all those things in a positive way or on the negative way. If we employ all this thing on a negative way, then it will create a very toxic environment, which is very bad for oneself as well as for the whole institution or workspace. Now, what are the tips to identify or to stay away from office politics? Number one is to focus on your work. So concentrate on doing your job well and meeting your goal, whatever goal you have. And when you consistently deliver quality work, you will earn respect that is based on your performance and not through a political or favoritism sort of like maneuvering. Okay, so most of the time the first thing is to focus on your own work. Most of the time in this office politics, people try to distract you from your own particular goal. So you have no idea, you talk about this person, that person, and you forget your own work. So the first and foremost is to focus on your own work, your own goal. And if you perform well, if your performance is good, you will earn respect that is based on your performance and not on this political maneuvering. Second is to stay neutral. Now this is something which I find very difficult, but I try to be neutral, but when we remain neutral, again we bear a lot of criticism. So how to stay neutral? So avoid taking side in conflict or gossip about colleague. So by remaining neutral means you minimize the chances of being dragged into office politics. So I told you, being neutral is one thing that we can employ whenever we face this kind of office politics environment, or we fell into this workspace where people do office politics. So one thing is to avoid gossip and conflicts, and another thing is to to stop taking side and just be neutral. So saying is very easy, it is easier said than done, but then we must put some effort to be neutral. For that you need a lot of uh, power, inner power, as well as you need to identify a lot of things. Most of the time what happened, many novice, new worker, they fell into the trap because they have no idea about the environment, what kind of people are there. So gradually then they learn that, yeah, there are this that. So then you will understand that, oh, at that point of time you have to be very neutral. So it takes time. Even if you fall into the trap of office politics, doesn't matter. As soon as you understand that there are this kind of this thing carried out, then you must come out of it as soon as possible. Third is to build a positive relationship. Now, how to build a positive relationship? So cultivate genuine professional relationship with your colleague based on mutual respect and trust, focused on teamwork, collaboration rather than advancing your personal agenda. So we must know, about one's own agendas. Every, as a human being, every person has some form of like agendas or goals to achieve based on the personal level. And we must also not forget about the goal of our institutions or any other organization. So building positive relationship is another important thing that we must all know. And fourth is to set boundaries. So politely, decline to engage in a conversation or activities that involve office politics. Redirect discussion to the work related topic and suggest finding constructive solution instead. So setting boundaries is very important in even in the personal life also. Sometimes I don't know, because we are all our based on our own traditional and cultural sort of thing, you know. Mm, because from the place from where I come, Ladakh, and then the Tibet and the entire East Asia, Southeast Asian people, uh, we have been taught to employ the practice of Bodhisattva since from our childhood. So whenever we say something, or maybe people from these regions are, doing it thinking that they are doing bodhisattva act or bodhisattva practice, but people sitting on the another side, they will think that, they will take it on a very another level, thinking that these people are very like innocent, and they do not know, they are very weak. So they think that kind of thing, and try to manipulate us and do all this kind of thing. So under such case, but in a way, these people on this side also, they are also aware, but they're just doing this thing on the basis of what they have taught from their childhood to practice this kind of thing. So this approach of, not only Gautam Buddha, but it's the Gautam Buddha who implied the practice of non-violence and the Bodhisattva practice and all those things. But when I came here and learned about the other aspect of India, history of India, then these things are, be it the idol of Bodhisattva or many other traditional deities, for what purpose they have been constructed. So there are a lot of things to understand. But anyway, this setting boundaries is very important for our personal life as well as for professional life. So most of the time under such scenario, it is important to set a line, set a boundary. Many people think that, when we set a line, set a boundary, people will call us selfish and all those things. So that doesn't matter what people think, whether you're selfish and all those things. But it is important for all of us to understand uh, and to realize, when the time comes, it is important to draw a line. When people just cross the limit, we must set a boundary. And also, whenever the discussion, sometimes We have no idea what this particular discussion will take shape, what it will go, which direction it will go. So at the time we have to redirect the discussion to the work related topic rather than other things, other insignificant issues. And the fifth point is communicate openly. So communication is something which is very essential. I've now realized the importance of communication. It is very important in today's world. If your communication is clear, effective, or constructive, then it will save you from a lot of things. But if your communication is weak, not clear, based on not pure intention, then it will generate a lot of problems, create a lot of problem for you. So be transparent and honest in your conversation or communication. Clear communication helps to prevent misunderstanding and reduce the need for political maneuvering. So I told you, it is very important to be transparent in your communication. But most of the time, in the entire mainland or entire nation, we are seeing there is no honesty in their communication, and there's no transparency. So because of which people make each other suffer. So honesty is very underrated thing. People don't want to be honest. Whosoever get honest in this thing, then that particular person will cut off, their head will cut off on the first place. So that is why you need to be very diplomatic in a way, in a good way. So but at the same time, no matter what people say, you just be yourself, based on your own understanding. You have to employ some level of honesty, and you do not need to be blunt honest. Okay, your honesty should be like, doesn't matter, you don't need to give explanation. If you are practicing any spiritual pathway, then it will be very challenging for you, because you think that you are being honest, and you are honest, but people may not like it. People do not like truth and honesty. Although they seek for truth and honesty, but they do not like it. So but still be transparent and be honest in your communication, and try to make your communication clear, so to prevent misunderstanding and judgment in these things, misjudgment, I would say. So the next thing is number 6 is maintain professionalism. Now and this professionalism and all those things, it's a lot of thing actually. And as a generation, I think, why I would say, those who are born in 1980s, we have not been, we are not taught this kind of thing. We randomly in this changing dynamic environment where we are introducing with a lot of technologies. Today's younger generations that are Gen Zs are very much aware of these things. But those who are born in 1980s to 1990s, in between this phase, you have seen the you are the last tail, I would say, of all generation, and the first, like the head of this new generation. So in between, and you fall in this between, this interim space, and then you were not taught by anyone, but you get randomly introduced to these new things. So how to maintain professionalism? So we need to act with integrity, honesty, and professionalism, and avoid using unethical behavior. Always adhere to company policies and guidelines. So integrity is good. Many people, they have such a high level of professionalism that we have no idea what they are speaking. Either it is based on fact or based on, like, false statement. So they have reached to that kind of experience that now they can maul their speech anytime, and we think that this is something, we got impressed. But if we go beyond the speech, of such personalities, then you will realize that there are a lot of lies and false statement in such kind of conversation or speech. So but because of lot of experience, they have learned to maneuver their speech, whether it is based on fact or not. But here what I realized in this today's world, because today's world, in this today's world or in the today's workspace, integrity is something which is very important. It plays a very important role, and it is that connecting element between personal, deep sense of like our conscience or consciousness, and then our heart, and then our workspace ethics and guideline, the policies. So if you maintain some level of integrity, then you will find deep satisfaction here, that you cannot compromise with anything. But if you do not act with integrity, then although you may bear name and fame outside, but if here is no integrity, then your consciousness and your inner element will not support you, your soul will not support you. So that is why it is important, it has become more crucial than ever for all of us to work with some level or form of integrity and honesty at workplace, and also in the personal life, depending on different personal thing. Like as an Indian, we have this spirituality embedded in our blood and vein. So and always know the institutions or organization policies, read those policies, read those guidelines, read those mottos, what the institution relies upon, what is the goal, what is the agendas. Then you will prevent yourself from doing unethical thing. I was not aware of that particular thing, but now I'm learning all of this thing, because uh, as a spiritual or religious person, we always think that people are good everywhere, but people are not good. And sometimes because of blind faith, we think that we do not think it is necessary to go with the the institutional guidelines and all those kind of rules and regulation and everything, thinking that people are good, people are all religious, they will help you. But it is not like that. For a government, no matter what, for any government institution or even private and other institution, there are certain guidelines that we must follow, no matter what background, from what status and position you are coming from, because the rules is equal for one and all. That we must, as a religious person, you can't say that religious and all those things, that is on the another level. But here, on the ethical level, on the baseline level, you must know what is companies or organization policies and guidelines, so that you may not fall into the trap of these things, or you prevent yourself from doing some unethical sort of like things. So it is better to get aware of policies or companies guideline before, and to adhere to those policies and guidelines no matter what, because you have come here to work for the institution first and foremost. Then comes your own personal sort of like goal or whatever. Next come the stay informed. Be aware of what is happening in your workplace, but don't get caught up in office gossip and rumors. And focus on factual information and avoid spreading heresies. So one important thing is, it is very important in these days to be updated, to be informed, well informed about what is happening in your workplace, but at the same time you do not get caught up in the work office politics or gossip and rumors, because this thing will more manipulate, more multiplied the difficulties, rather than making it the environment more supportive, open and secure for all, isn't it? So as a person working in institution, it is your duty to make your environment more holistic, more organic, so that not only oneself but other people can also thrive and feel safe, in that particular environment that you are working on. Last is to seek guidance if needed. So if you find yourself in a situation where office politics are becoming problematic, or if it causing you problem, then it is better to seek the help of a trusted mentor or HR representative to how to handle it effectively. Sometimes what happen, we will not uh, realize कि we have fall into the trap of office politics and all those kind of things. So if it started causing problem in your work life, it is better to speak and to reach to a particular individual who have more work experience than you, to seek guidance. Seeking guidance will not make you less. Okay, seeking guidance will help you to come out of such problematic state that you are going through. Sometimes it is very difficult to share things with our parents and relatives. If we share that kind of thing, what people will think, that you are also suffering. So people like, outside in the people always like drama, and if you say that you are suffering, people will be happy seeing you suffered in such thing. So but that is not important. What other people think of us, it doesn't matter at all. But suppose, if you feel like you have some problem in your workspace or even in your personal life, it is better to approach a person. Like in the personal level, we have our parents to talk about. No matter what, whether your parents are educated or not, they have some level of experience, isn't it? mm, so in Ladakh there is a saying that uh, you know goat, bakri जो आता है, तो my mother always told me, used to say that, she's like a tail. Tail comes along with God, uh, since by birth. But horn, Raju Singh is like कि वो बाद में आता है. तो what is mean by saying that is that she is more experienced than me, because I have come through her. So she has a lot of experience, same thing with the people also. So I'm just like जो सिंह horn होता है, it's like वो बाद में आता है. Like suppose if you observe the goat, so the tail is something which comes by birth, but horn is they develop gradually. So my mother, when she compared, so she says that she's more experienced than me in a way. So yes, no matter what, whether she's educated or not doesn't matter, but she has years of experience of her personal life, face society, maintain all those kind of things. So if you're facing problem, it's better to approach your parents, because they have some form of guidance no matter what. Similarly, in the workspace or in the work culture, it is better to approach your senior, whom you can trust, whom you have faith to make yourself come out of such problematic situation or scenario. So this is and this is some of the tips which I have shared with the help of ChatGPT to to minimize your involvement in office politics and maintain a positive attitude, a productive attitude, to build a more holistic and organic work environment, so that it will not only help oneself, but it will also help the people, a lot of people as a worker. Suppose if I give you my own example, so each and every day we have to deal with a lot of things like students and then colleagues, and there are a lot of other administrative worker also. So if we create a positive work environment, then it will create a holistic and organic work environment for everyone working there. So in that way we will produce more productive result rather than dragging each other down. So this is what I want to say. I have tried to make it short, but it has become long. So anyway, so that's all I want to say. Thank you so much and wish you a very happy weekend.